IVM.
Hi, everybody. Just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And this is the second episode that we're doing with Gaurav Bhagat. If you've missed the first episode, please go listen to that because that's the one where we set the foundation, where we talk about habits, where we talk about his work with BJ Fogg, his work with Grant Cardone, and understanding the basics of what we're going to be discussing in today's episode. In today's episode, what we're going to be deep diving into are habits that are needed for Gen Z and what are the elements that we need to start understanding and focusing on in order to really have an awesome life and get all the goals that we want and deserve. GB, I'm going to call you GB now.
Yeah, that works perfectly. Yeah.
Okay. So, GB, the other aspect that we wanted to discuss in the podcast are what are the habits that people need for Gen Z? You work with a lot of, young people getting into their jobs, just starting out, right? What are the aspects of life that they need to now start focusing on? What are the habits that they need to start focusing on to kick ass in life?
Yeah. Super question there. And I've been working with a lot of, as you mentioned, students, a lot of graduating young professionals who are also looking to get into the workforce as well. One of our initiatives is also about creating jobs for these guys because they have really been beaten down. They've really been battered down. They've gone through college. They've gone through what they thought was their ticket to a great life. And then because of the pandemic, a lot of these offers had actually been deferred, delayed, cancelled. So hence, in a position today where they're very, very dejected and very, very distracted. So what I tell a lot of these people who are coming out of these institutions, people who are young professionals at work, I think there are certain aspects that are very, very important. And for a second, I want you to think of superheroes, like the Superman and the Superwoman and the Batman. All of these superheroes, they wear capes, right? So the CAPES. And for your listeners and viewers, just to put this in context, I tell people that you have to right now move forward with the mindset of capes. So what is capes? The C is consistency. Okay, that you need to stay the path. Yes, there will be ups and downs and all of that, but you need to stay consistent. Okay, matlab lage raho munna bhai, right? So that's the whole thing. You need to be consistent. Second, the A is adaptability. Right now, we thought everything was going back on track. The second wave, popped out of nowhere, and again, we were thinking that boss, everything is opening, and then all of a sudden, everything shut down, and it got worse. Right, so hence we need to stay adaptable. We need to stay agile and know that boss kabhi bhi kuch bhi ho sakta hai. And we need to stay adaptable and say, okay, I'm someone who will adapt as per the situation, and I will not blame the life and and kismat and say bhai khatam ho gaya and all of that. So adaptability is very important. Third is you need to stay persistent. Right, and again, persistence is a variation of adaptability, of consistency, but it's persistence that you will carry on irrespective, no matter what happens. Okay, you are completely going to persist. The fourth element, which is the E, which is something that a lot of people make a mistake on, is execution. Okay, you need to act. Okay, all the learnings, all the listenings, everything that's really coming to you, whatever situation's happening. So the E is something that's very, very important, and that's execution. Right? Grant would talk about that all the time, like take massive action. If you're not taking massive action, well, then nothing's going to happen to you. So have to be in the execution mode all the time. Okay, and the S in the CAPE space, and this would be the first of our 5, is actually the success mindset. You have to have that mindset of success. You have to think that, okay, irrespective of whatever is happening, there is something better that's going to come out of this. Even this is, like a blacksmith forges, like steel in a furnace. That's exactly what's happening. Right now, I'm being tested and I'm being made, a better version of myself. So this would be probably my first of the 5, which is the CAPES mindset. So consistency, adaptability, persistence, execution, and the success mindset. So these are 5 very, very important aspects for Gen Z today to be, in fact, not only Gen Z, but everyone to be really keeping an eye on, but definitely Gen Z, because they right now are in a space where I truly feel for them.
Yeah, absolutely. GP, let's deep dive into each of these. I think let's spend some time on talking about each of these and understanding what are things that they can immediately start working on for these. So let's expand a little. We spoke a lot about consistency in the previous podcast where we were discussing this.
Right.
Let's focus a little bit more on consistency. What are two things that they can start doing right now to improve the consistency?
Yeah. To my mind, what is very, very important is the fact that we must have our goals in place, Ashton, right? And, when we are asking to be consistent, okay, what should we be consistent towards? So it's very, very important to have your goals in place. And too often, people, when they do goal setting, they go all out on one particular thing. They're like, kaam mein itna karna hai, paisa itna kamana hai, ya health itna karna hai, ya marathon itni bhagni hai. So they have, these elements in their goal setting journey as well, and they focus on that one thing, and hence it's a little warped. My belief always has been is that when you do your goal setting, even your goal setting has to be rounded. It has to be covering 6 areas of your life. So yes, if work is your thing, and work could right now be, either school or college, or even if you started your job and all of that. So work is, of course, one important aspect. Second is the financial piece. Okay, like money that you can create on side hustles, money that you can create from, whatever work you're doing. Are you putting a little bit of that aside? Not for a rainy day, not for a contingency, because I tell people, if you save for a rainy day and you save for a contingency, what you will get is a rainy day or a contingency. Instead, save for opportunities, and opportunities will actually come your way. So have your opportunity fund. So work, finance. Third is lifestyle, right? Live a little, okay? Save for that, holiday, or say that, okay, I'm going to go out and buy myself. iPhones came out yesterday. I'm going to go out and buy myself that iPhone. So have those goals, for your lifestyle goals as well. Number 4 is have your health goal. Right. So in terms of, okay, what do I want my ideal weight to be? If I'm going to be a runner, a gym, a yoga guy, so have your health goal as well. That's number 4. Number 5 is your mental goals, right? What are some of the things that you will be looking at, either learning, reading, and to my mind here, even spirituality, even giving to charity, even these are all mental goals. And the last one is family and relationships, because in the end, it all boils down to what is your relations with your family, with those nearest and dearest to you. Are people, calling you someone who is, a positive influence, or someone who's, pardon my French, but asshole. So the point is that you really want to be, thinking about this. So hence, when I say consistency, okay, of course, you've got these 6 areas. I would recommend to everyone is that pick, maybe for the course of this discussion and the course of consistency, pick any one of these areas first, okay, and then just start putting in regular action, okay, towards making that goal happen. So, once those actions are being put in, and these ideally should be, daily actions or at least weekly actions, that's how you will start to build this thing called consistency. People will start seeing you differently. People will start seeing you as someone who's working towards, that particular that goal that you had. And once you start seeing those wins and celebrating those wins, that's when the entire consistency chain will actually start to build, and then you can just pick the next one and repeat the process again.
That's so beautiful. I was actually going to ask you, where does spirituality fit into it, and you added it into the mental part.
Yeah.
Right now, Gen Z spirituality, how does that work?
So interestingly, right? And if people asked me a few years ago, are you a spiritual person? And I would probably say I'm not. Because spirituality doesn't have to mean, okay, it's only to do with, a religious belief, or, something to do in terms of, a belief in a higher power, etc. Sometimes spirituality for you can mean coming onto Instagram, talking about something that you love, which actually inspires someone, onto that particular path as well. So you could actually be spiritual about, I don't know, even being an Instagram influencer, for example, right? To my mind, even that is this person's belief. So spirituality to me is about your belief, the impact that you want to have on the world, and broadcasting it to people who will care to listen. So I think big learning for me from a few years ago was, I used to think, higher power, and all that, right? But to me, spirituality actually started to mean just coming on to podcasts, coming on to YouTube videos, coming out to forums, talking about the things I believed in, be it sales, be it motivation, be it entrepreneurship, be it behavior change. So for me, what the conversation that you and I are having right now is a spiritual conversation. So hence, anyone out there who's listening and saying that, okay, I'm not spiritual in the conventional religious sense, absolutely okay. Be spiritual in terms of whatever you believe in and whatever you think the world needs more of. And that could even be, be a clubhouse influencer and all of that. Who knows? So to my mind, it's just about putting what you believe in out there and having others follow your path.
An element of giving back to that extent, right?
Of course. And it's very, very important. I mean, giving is one of the core areas. And when we talk about additional, things that Gen Z needs to be doing, one of them is definitely giving back. Right now, the world just needs more givers. We have too many takers. We have too many people who are saying, "What's in it for me?" We don't have enough people who are, just wanting to contribute, give back without expecting anything in return.
I think that beautifully segues into the A, which is your adaptability, correct?
Yeah.
Adaptability, and I've seen this as something that has been a big issue with the current generation as we're growing past, right? It is just so averse to change. It's not nimble, very. What is your thought on adaptability?
Yeah, so two thoughts around this, and one is I think Gen Z in particular, again, the youngsters of today, and I see this. I have a young boy, who's 14 and a daughter who's 10, and I see that they're very, very unwilling to try new things. They're very, very unwilling to move away from what is the norm. Also, there's another set, maybe slightly older set of of youngsters today who are extremely extremely desirable or expecting really quick wins. They're like, boss, matlab, life is a T20 match. Yeah, this is going to work out for me and it's going to happen, so fast. And, and I just do this amount of work and everything will go, fantastically well. And all the, rewards and fortunes will come my way. So I think what is very, very important from the adaptability perspective and what the pandemic has taught us, that it was okay to pause. It was okay to stop. I mean, truly, like people say, this was, an incident that really got us to stop and take notice. Okay. And hence, coming back to the adaptability aspect, yes. And Mike Tyson says this, right? And I was a boxer in school. So Mike Tyson would always say this: everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. So yes, that plan was there. You thought that, okay, this is going to be my best year ever. This is going to be my best week. This is going to be my best month. This is going to be an amazing day. This is going to be an amazing date. This is going to be an amazing job. And you come in with all those preset expectations, but it doesn't turn out like you expect. Right. And your plans will change. Okay. That gratification, which you thought will happen, in minutes, could actually take months. And hence, I think that adaptability quotient is very, very important, that you need to be willing to understand that is really what is required right now.
How do you make it a habit?
How do you make adaptability a habit? That's an interesting question. And again, if I was to break this and link it, to behaviors, so we'll always have to go back to the swarm of bees. So anything that we want to do. So if we take adaptability and we put that in the central box, now we're going to have to think about what are some of the actions. Okay, what are some of the behaviors that are going to make this, become easier? For example, it's an interesting question. I mean, I've never been asked that one before, but we will have to, map it up. It's not something that I would say that one should actually be, focusing on being more resilient with disappointment. Right? I don't want to take that as, one of the behaviors. It's an interesting question. Maybe I need to think about that a little more and come back to you in terms of how can adaptability, in a way, be something that can be put onto the equation and actually worked upon. And thoughts that come to mind are basically that if there are certain things that are setting us off, we want to try and get those to become slightly more difficult to do. Okay, and make the behaviors that we want to bring in slightly more easier to do. So that would definitely be one area, one aspect to actually work on. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Maybe I'm going to map this and I'm going to send that to you post the podcast.
Please. Yeah. Because it's so interesting. Like I think a couple of years ago, I'd done a podcast on do one thing that scares you every month. And I'd associated the feeling of fear with adaptability, because you don't want to change because you're scared of it, right? So if you can become comfortable with fear and things that scare you, then hopefully your approach to changes. And which is where I added this, do one thing in the month that scares the crap out of you. And what is that going to be? So I think that was one way in which we'd approach it. But there are so many different ways to become more adaptable and malleable, because, the example of a coconut tree, like we have storms here all the time at our farm, and the chiku tree will fall down, the mango tree will fall down, but the coconut tree won't. Why? Because it's adaptable, it sways, right? It's bendy. And I think that's a way of approaching adaptability.
Very true.
Love it.
Very true. Yeah.
P, persistence.
Right. So, again, in persistence, it's about just staying the path. There'll be a lot of things that'll happen. There'll be a lot of circumstances that'll come up. There'll be a lot of influencers. Also the BSO syndrome, which is the bright shiny objects which will keep popping up, in your path and say, hey, you know what? I think I should drop this and try this because this is the new trending thing. And we see this a lot in work actually. So hence, I think it's very, very important to again. Keeping your goals in focus. I mean, your goals are truly your compass, right? So keeping your goals in focus, you just have to stay the path. Yes, again, there will be instances that'll come that'll try and kind of blow you off. We always talk about this example, when we talk about goal setting. Like, let's just say a plane takes off, from Delhi and is heading to Bombay, and suppose it was pilotless, okay, and suppose it was just on its own by plotted coordinates. It would never factor for turbulence. It would never factor for weather. It would never factor for various things. And there's a possibility that if the pilot wasn't there to redirect, keep course correcting, you would actually end up in the Arabian Sea, right? Or you might end up in Hyderabad. I mean, I don't know. So the point is, hence persistence is just about, again, keeping your eye on the prize. Okay, saying this is what I want to achieve by XYZ date. Yes, there will be a whole bunch of factors, but for me, I'm the pilot of my airplane and I have to get us from Delhi to Bombay, and I'm not going to be, deterred or set off path by anything else that comes my way. So persistence would just be, again, about just continuity and, not giving in, never give in. So Sana's motto, right? Never give in. So yeah.
Love it. Never give in, not giving in. While you were talking, this reminded me of a talk that I was listening to just the other day by Napoleon Hill, the person who wrote Think and Grow Rich, right? And he was talking about how the really, really wealthy, he was talking about Carnegie and Ford at that point in time, because those were his models. And he was saying all of them were described as being hard-headed and, tough people, not worthy, not like us at that point of time. And he was saying that it wasn't hard-headedness, it wasn't being evil, it wasn't being any of that. They were just extremely persistent. And it was that persistence that was coming across as being hard-headed and being like this, like that, because they were so fixed on that goal that they wanted to achieve, that everything else was just, left to the side.
Agreed. Yeah, dogged determination. Like I said, and the old timers, they really had this to a very, very large extent. And I think Generation Z today is just not as committed to the path as they should be. I know there are many who are, and I'm not going to typecast the entire generation as such, but I just see that the entire thought of getting these super quick wins and instant gratification, and so and like I said, I was having a conversation with Bharat Puri the other day, and Bharat was a senior from Sana, and he's actually the managing director of Pidilite, and he loves sports and analogies, right? And he was talking about the fact that he said, life is not a T20, life is a test match, right? So hence you have to be playing it for the long term. Championships like the Wimbledon, they're not won by, like, Federer could not just come in and win one match and actually become a champion. He has to win round 1, 2, 3, 4, quarters, semis, finals. He has to do that persistently over many years before he's considered one of the greats. So truly, stay the path. Don't expect those quick wins, and persistence is really up there as one of those things that we all need to bring a little bit more of in our lives.
So true. I love Bharat Puri. He's a very, very close family friend of ours. When I was growing up, his sport analogy was, Acha, stop trying to defend yourself on the front foot. The front foot defense. So yeah, lovely, lovely person. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side.
Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, Chef Saransh Goyla talks to Cyrus about his food show, Grand Trunk Rasoi, his experience as a guest judge on MasterChef Australia, and a whole lot more. On All Things Policy, Pratik Vagre talks to Sapni GK and Rohan Sheth to examine the fine print in the Apple versus Epic Games lawsuit. On a bonus episode of Paisa Vaisa, Anupam is joined by Sumit Chanda, CEO at Jarvis Invest. They discuss why investing directly in equity is a better proposition than other financial platforms. On Say No to Drama, Chitna slices through all the time-related nonsense that we throw at ourselves instead of using our time wisely. And on Audio Gyan, Shahina Attarwala from Microsoft talks to Kedar and Abhineet about her decade-long design career and why she likes to call herself a businesswoman with a designer's heart. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. It really does help us. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week: Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quota, CoinSwitch, Kuber, and Inta vPro. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Welcome back. Let's jump into the conversation. the most important one, execution.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is one where most of us suffer. It doesn't matter if you're Gen Z, X, Y, A even.
Yeah, 100%, Ashton. And the fact is that execution is that it's truly the magic bullet, like truly the magic bullet. I mean, I in the last year have been doing, a whole set of webinars and trainings and coachings. And we have a lot of people who really go through. And, some of these people have finished one course, jumped onto another, finished that course, jumped on another. I said, Karkareo, like, what are you doing? And they'd be like, oh, right now we are searching for the magic bullet. We're searching for that gyan that will change everything. I'm like, hang on a second. I said, what have you executed based on that last course that you did? And the person said, no, nothing. Right now I've come to your course and यहाँ से भी कुछ देखेंगे, फिर अगले में जाएंगे, फिर मैं सब सोचूंगा, बैठूंगा, करूंगा, and then I'll go ahead and decide, and that'll be my execution. So, that's unfortunately what has started to happen to a lot of people right now, is that just not putting in that ability to act, right? And ACT, people say, what does ACT change for? I'm like, dude, action changes things. So you really need to have that execution mindset. I mean, I mentioned to you about Grant Cardone as well. What I loved about Grant Cardone, and the reason why I was, attracted to what he taught and everything else, because Grant Cardone is all about action. Okay, in fact, massive action. In fact, 10x action, right? And when people think of the 10x rule, I mean, you see it on my lapel, you see it on my Zoom background as well. 10x, and the reason why this philosophy so resonates with me, it's not about that your company will grow 10x or your life will get 10x or your money will go 10x. Yes, all these things will happen, but what the 10x rule states is this: that if you want to go from point A to point B, okay, you have a goal, you want to go from point A to point B, and you think about all the actions, all the efforts, all the activities that are going to be required to get you there. And you close your eyes and you think about it and you say, acha, itne calls karne padenge, itne meetings karne padenge, itna outreach karna padega. And that already starts to seem a lot for a lot of people. The 10x rule states this: that whatever amount you just thought of, Ashton, you will actually have to take 10 times the amount of action to make that one thing happen. That is what the 10x rule is, right? And there are people who are just not willing to do this. And that is why you have people who are extremely disappointed, dejected, very average with their results, because for them, execution or 10x action is binge watching Money Heist on Netflix and watching the whole series, in one shot. So, that's 10x action if you want to become an authority on the show. But the point is that people just aren't putting in enough action. They're not just putting in enough activity. They're just not executing. And I know sometimes, it seems hard, and hence, coming back again to the MAP aspect, you can't leave these things to motivation alone. It has to be a combination of ability and prompts as well. And execution is everything. Without this, it's game over.
Yeah. The just starting to do something is the biggest. Getting over the inertia to action is the biggest one. How do you help people out with that? Like my standard is give them a thappad, but that doesn't work every single time. So how do you get around to that?
Yeah, so super question. And again, when we spoke about punishment and benefit, that is one aspect. But what I love about this, and again, we're going to come back to BJ Fogg and tiny habits for a second. And there are two ways to actually go ahead and do this. And it's called, one is called the starter step, and the second is called scaling back. Let's talk about both these things, in isolation. So let's just say that, execution or your goal right now is the fact that you want to run a particular distance. Okay, let's not even say a half marathon. Let's just say you want to run, even a kilometer or two, but you haven't done that in the longest time. So what the starter step would mean this is that, yes, you want to start, going ahead and doing this. Wake up in the morning once you've done your, A, which is your anchor, habit, whatever it might be. Let's say you've just had your cup of coffee or whatever else. The B, the behavior, is just put on your shoes. Just put on your shoes and just sit down and just do a fist pump. Say, boss, aaj joote pehn gaye, ye bahut hai. Okay, so this is the starter step. Now, after you've done this for about a week, you'll say, yaar, joote pehn liye to thoda chal hi leta hu, right? I'm not saying go and run already. I'm saying just maybe take a walk to the mailbox to see, how much mail is lying around, in the mailbox or anything like that. And then once you've done that, you'll probably say, what, let me now just go for a walk around the complex, just do a few 100 meters. And then as you start, building this up, eventually there'll be a day you'll say, what, I think I can run. So the point is consistently keep taking on that action that, okay, I've done my anchor habit. I've drunk my morning cup of coffee. I've put on my shoes. And now what? Okay, and then that becomes your B, and as you keep growing that B, okay, like a plant that's planted in a seed, like a seed that's planted in a pot, it'll just start to take root, and it'll get bigger and bigger, and eventually one day it'll be Mount Sherman, which is your the biggest oak tree of all time in somewhere in California and the redwoods. So that's how it starts. So that's the starter step. The second step is called a scale back. Okay, and the scale back is something that, again, we have an aspiration. Everyone says, the brightest minds, global CEOs, etc., they read one book a week, right? So they're 52 weeks, 52 weeks, they do 52 books. And while that's really ambitious, I mean, I've never been able to do it, but I know a lot of people would aspire to do that as well. So what is your scale back? Your scale back is just the fact that, okay, there's a book that's lying on your table. Open that book and just read one paragraph. That's it. Just today, just read that one paragraph. Right. So hence what's happening is, one day you do that one paragraph, and then you'll scale it up to 2, it'll go to a page, maybe one day a chapter, and who knows, eventually you'll actually be crushing, a book a week. So again, start a step that, you take the first step, and such a micro step that it's a no-brainer. That boss joote pehen ke baithna hi hai na sofa pe, theek hai, wo kar liya. And then obviously, you start, scaling that up in due course as well. And the second one is scaling back, where, okay, if there's a larger goal, you break it up into a really small thing. Like, okay, everyone says, drinking water is healthy. Have your starter step is just have a flask of water lying on your table. The scaling back is just pick it up and just take one sip.
Superb.
Right?
When you were talking about reading, so once I did the whole 52 books in a year bit.
Wow.
But the thing was that I realized that, very soon you start saying, Acha, now let me find the smallest book that I can think of. Today is a hectic week. Let me think of the thinnest book that I can find. And that is one very good way of scaling back. When people want to get into the reading habit, they immediately start saying, I will read Tolstoy's War and Peace. Nahi, Baba. Please do not start reading something like that. Start with the smallest book that you can find and get your easy win in. And then start taking it from there. So that's how another way that you can scale back on 100%. The way that you want to progress forward.
Yeah.
Superb. So we've got CAPE. So we got the execution, now S.
Yeah. So the success mindset, and this is easier said than done. A lot of people will say, Ashton or GB ka podcast sun lena, apna mindset thoda bahut change ho jayega. I mean, sure, those are great steps. But it's one that you have to, again, consciously work towards. Who are the people that you are surrounding yourself? Who are the people you are listening to? What are the inputs that you're taking in? A lot of times, and it's unfortunate that there are certain, people in the media or certain aspects of the media which tend to talk a lot about the sensationalist, negative aspect of things from time to time as well, right? And that's unfortunate. So yes, those are the things you have to put aside. So I think this mindset of success really comes with a few things. One of them is who you're surrounding yourself with, who you're listening to, who is someone who is actually, mentoring you or being a coach or trainer to you. And a very important aspect is that each and every person, irrespective of who you are or where you are at in life, you have to have a mentor and a trainer. Okay, and this doesn't mean someone, okay, even there you have to pay a really high fee to, like, I would pay to the Cardones or the Fogs of the world or anything like that. Anyone else, someone who just comes on, someone who's on TV, someone who's on a YouTube channel, someone who's got a podcast on, and someone who you could perhaps, if you're really stuck, maybe even reach out to, and they could reply back to your mail or send you a message or, give you some kind of advice or, put you onto someone else within their community who could actually guide you, if they have mentees who are there to help as well. I think that's very, very important. So the mindset of success is something that takes perhaps, more work than any of those things that we really spoke about. And especially when you're in a place where there's lots of bad things happening, when there's, and it's not been the best of times, irrespective of what people will say, it's not been the best of times in the last, 16, 17 months. And even through that, just to stay consistent, stay focused, stay positive, there's a lot of things that you have to work towards to make that happen. But one of the easiest things is get yourself a coach, mentor, start following them, and trust the process and commit completely.
You said something so important, which is surround yourself with people, right? How do you start finding these people? So one is, of course, getting yourself your coaches and mentors. But apart from that, you want to surround yourself with friends who have a similar mindset. How do you start finding people like that? How do you find people the mindset that you desire?
Again, and it's a great question. In the earlier days, it perhaps wouldn't have been the easiest of things to do because, your friends by default were people who were in your immediate environment, people who were staying, around you. So your neighbors, people that you were hanging out with, people that you went to school or college with, your work colleagues, etc. Hence, by default, you were actually being thrown into an environment where you had no choice. Today, what I love about how things are actually changing, and again, we'll take an example of a forum which is really good right now, is actually Clubhouse, right? So Clubhouse today is the audio streaming app where everyone's coming on, and based on your interest, you can actually, or even the thing that attracts you, you can actually jump onto that particular forum, and these people are coming on with a lot of consistency. They're coming on and they're speaking regularly. Today there are forums where you can back channel them and you can start getting in touch with them. You can start associating with them as well. So Clubhouse, I mean, just one example, because something that's trending a lot right now. And there are certain friendships which I thought I would have never made, right? But by virtue of being there, by virtue of being in the same rooms, by listening to them, by sharing in those conversations as well, what I've realized is that these people are very, very open to having a conversation back. So that is just one example of how this is happening. The same thing is happening on forums such as Instagram as well. The same thing is happening where on Instagram, I mean, there was someone I want to reach out to, and I just sent him a PM on Instagram, and I said, dude, this is never going to happen, right? And lo and behold, I heard back in a week, and the person said, hey, you know what, I've been following you, and it's interesting in terms of what you're doing. I think there is some positive things that we can send out to our communities as well. Let's get together and let's have a conversation. Sometimes you reach out to people who are in similar interest groups. Like, I'll give you another example. It was just pre-pandemic, and there was two other coaches who I really look up to and respect, and the three of us got together, and one day over a drink at the golf club, we just said, boss, kuch saath karte hain. And one of them was Avi Arya. And Avi, of course, has been in the space forever, and he's in the entire digital domain, and digital is his piece. And he says, what, my friend is coming to join us. And in walks in his friend, who's a guy called Viraj Kalra, who's fantastic human being. And the three of us just sat down and we said, Viraj does leadership, Avi does digital, I do sales. And we, on the spot, decided to create an event called LSD, which was, the drug for a positive mind, by virtue of leadership, sales, and digital. And we had a few more meetings, and then we took up the Radisson in Mahipalpur, and we went and we delivered an event, and people came back and said, dude, you guys seem to be like brothers, and you guys seem to be, have been done this and practiced for years. Till the morning, we didn't even know who's presenting what. Okay. But we just knew that jo bhi karenge, matlab intentionality se karenge, benefit denge. We're not here to, upsell or, do all those things. We're just here to give value. And everyone today, even 2 years later, has come back and saying, boss, wo LSD kab hoga? When is the next LSD happening? So hence again, once you put it out there that this is my intention, you will attract a lot of people towards your cause as well. And that's how, community is really built. And it'll be reflected by your interests, where you're hanging out, what rooms are you in. There are, of course, so many other offline forums. I mean, you have the BNIs and the Rotaries and the EOs and the YPOs and all these kind of places. I mean, BNI is such a fantastic forum. I've been a BNI member for 10 years. And when I walked into that room, I said, Pata nahi kya milega, matlab, chalo, kuch seekhne ko milega, nothing else. I mean, forget the business that we've done, okay, which is run into tens of crores, okay, both given and receiving. But the learning that's happened for me there, I went from being introverted, back of the room sitting gift guy, okay, to today coming on to forums and actually looking for places where the light can actually shine on me and how I can then, spread my learnings to the rest of the world. It happened through BNI. It happened through 15 people initially. Now, of course, with 100 plus, but 15 people in a room saying, boss, kuch karna hai, right? So, like they say in the Kevin Costner movie, Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. I truly believe that, if you seek it, you will find it. And sometimes we just become excuse makers where we don't go out and search and we say, nahi ji, meri to sangat aisi hai, meri to company aisi hai, meri to, bure. So it happens, right? So that'll just be my thought over there.
Lovely. I think this is such a great spot to start ending the podcast on, which is success. Okay. Like you were talking about success, you're talking about success mindset. What is success and what are people not getting about this word?
Interesting. So success means different things to different people. And again, while we spoke about, the goal piece, what I always tell people to go back to, and the reason why they even fail on goals, is the fact that the goals that they're creating are not built by what is the fundamental building block of goals, and that is your why, WHY. right? I mean, I'm sure you read Simon Sinek's Start With Why as well. And hence, once you know your why, once you know your purpose, once you know what is going to be your legacy, your impact, your defining stories that have set you on the path that you are on and where you're actually heading, to my mind, if one is able to identify their why, their core purpose for existence, and just move towards it and even get the smallest of wins, to my mind, that's really a success. The other element that I would just like to state for everyone who's listening in, we're really, really hard on ourselves when we don't achieve what we think we ought to be achieving, and when certain failures do happen. And I see this a lot with our kids and their generation. So we're starting them so young, where we're saying, beta, beti, itne marks aane chahiye class ke andar, because this is what success is all about, and everything else. Some of the most brilliant people I know, we failed in school. Okay, I mean, putting out there, I got a compartment in my maths class 11. I had to come back and do a re-exam. Okay, last week I was talking to Siddharth Rajshekar. Siddharth Rajshekar actually failed class 12. Okay, today he's like the coach of the coaches. Grant Cardone has failed so many times in his life, but every time he came back and said, you know what, I think I can learn from here. I need to reinvent myself and actually need to go out there and do that. So yes, there are parameters of success, and you obviously set those parameters for yourself, but also equally important, don't fear failure. And if you have failed, it's absolutely okay. Like I said, some of the most successful people that I have met in my time, have either academically failed, or failed in relationships, or failed in life, or failed in health, failed in so many areas of their lives that they could actually write a book on it. But, today they have learned, they have kept moving forward with the CAPES mindset, and eventually it's success. So just my thoughts over that.
Beautiful. GB, thank you so much for coming on the Habit Coach podcast. I absolutely loved it. How can people get in touch with you? How can people follow you? You said you had a podcast. Just tell us a little bit about all these things.
Of course. Thank you. And first of all, thank you for having me here. It's been an absolute pleasure. So yes, I do have a podcast. I started in podcasting a very short while ago. It's only been about a year, and it's called the Smashed, Bashed, Yet Not Dashed podcast. So it's also the name of my book, which is going to be published by Success Resources shortly. I've just sent the manuscript to them. And again, these were instances of being smashed, being bashed, but yet not being dashed and moving forward. So that's what the book's all about as well. And so people can find me, of course, on Instagram and Clubhouse. I go under the hashtag of Gaurav_GBA. So Gaurav is my name, GAURAV _ and GBA. So that's my my hashtag, my LinkedIn and my Clubhouse room. I'm on Clubhouse every Tuesday. So I run a sales room on Clubhouse every Tuesday evening at 7:30 p.m. And of course, I can also be reached on Gaurav@GauravBhagatAcademy.com. That's my email ID. I'm always happy to, have a conversation, and always happy to, just help in whichever way I possibly can, because my why is about taking 100,000 business owners and helping them create 100 jobs in their organizations, and also taking 9 lakh working professionals and graduating students and helping them live the 10x life. And the only way that can happen is by, just having more conversations, being in touch with more people, and reaching out to as many people as one possibly can.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, GB, for coming on the Habit Coach podcast.
Thank you, Ashton. It is my pleasure. Thank you for having me. And you take care, and look forward to catching up again soon. Thank you.
Thank you. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashton Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com, or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME 180. That's Awesome 180.
IVM.